Okay, Brent, so the next thing I have is the Child Safe ID kits. Again, these are the ones that work hand in hand with the Amber Alert system. I know personally as a parent and with all the families I sit down with, one of the biggest fears we all have is child abduction. And even worse would be not having the information right at your fingertips to hand over to the authorities to find that child. And these are absolutely fantastic. What these do, always have trouble getting it out of the bag every time. Struggling. Okay. So what these do, they're really, really simple to fill out. You're just gonna put the child's name and the day, year, and month that it was filled out. Open it up. Really, really easy. Your children's information is going to go right here. Anything that changes, height, weight, you're going to want to write in pencil. Everything else can be in pen. Yours and Tommy's information is going to go right down here. Over here, you'll mark any identifying factors like birthmarks, scars, freckles, braces, things like that, and you'll list it right here. You'll want to put the DNA sample, so just one strand of hair with a follicle. Don't be mad at them and pull like 5 out. And then down here, it's fantastic. This is a double-sided ink strip, maybe closer to bath time because they'll get the fingers messy. But you'll put the fingerprints right here, left to right. And then in this section, you're gonna wanna do a photo. So school photos are fantastic because they get updated every year. You wanna update this about every 6 to 12 months. So usually when the clocks change, go forward and back as your indicator to update this. You want the age in the photo and the date that the photo was taken. Now on the back, it's really important too. It goes over the importance of 911, stranger danger, having a password and a code word for your kid. So, like I actually just told my daughter to take a name tag off of her backpack because any stranger could walk up, see what her name is and go, Elizabeth, your mom's in the hospital. She told me to come get you. And my daughter would probably go because she'd be worried about me. But we have a password in place. So if someone were to come up to her, hey Lizzie, your mom said the password is celery, but she wants me to come get you. Then she would know it was safe to go with that person. And the code word, because she spends the night at people's houses, if anything ever happened to make her feel uncomfortable or not want to stay there, but she doesn't want to make a big scene about it, she can call me, hey mom, can you bring me my soccer ball? That's our code word. I would know instantly she doesn't really need a soccer ball. She wants me to come and get her. So I would do that. We partnered with the International Police Association. They did a fantastic job on these. They did a fantastic job on these. I don't know how familiar you are with the Amber Alert, but sometimes it can take upwards of like 6 hours to get the information out and have that Amber Alert to your phone.
Right.
With these, you can hand it over to the authorities within minutes. They have your child's information out.
Oh, no kidding.
Didn't they do a fantastic job with these, Ren?
Yeah, I think they did, absolutely.
Yeah. So the next thing I went through, I apologize. Because we partnered with the International Association of Police, we actually had promised to them that we would get these out to every family we could that have children. We want to protect all of the kids, especially in our community. But with me being one of the very few agents in this area, I can't go to every single house, knock on the door, hey, do you have kids? Do you need these? So what they're allowing me to do is get 6 of your closest friends and family, kids that you would hands down protect in a heartbeat. I will go out and get them these kits. So who's gonna be the first person you know that has kids that we need to get these kits to?
My sister Courtney.
Okay. And is her last name Copeland?
No, it's Hollenbeck actually.
Hollenbeck. Okay. Is she married?
Yeah, her husband's name is Dustin.
Dustin. Okay. And how many kids does Courtney have?
2.
2. Beautiful. And is she right here in Potsdam with us?
Yeah, close. She's in Norfolk, so.
Norfolk. Perfect. And what's her phone number?
315-322-8742.
Okay, perfect. So I'll make sure I get out to Courtney and Dustin. We'll protect her 2 little babies. Who's the next one?
He's got a friend named Ryan. He's got a little girl, so.
Ryan does?
Yep.
Okay, just one
One.
little girl, perfect. And significant other,
Yep,
spouse? Jess, okay, and what city are they in?
Chase Mills.
Okay, and what's Ryan's phone number?
315-322-8742.
Okay, now is Ryan the one that usually answers the phone, or is it gonna be more likely that Jess is gonna pick up for me?
I think Ryan would answer probably more than Jess.
Okay.
She's a texter, that one.
Perfect, alright, and then, alright, we have the next one.
That's actually the only ones that I know that have young kids.
Okay, that works perfectly, so we'll get in touch with Ryan and Courtney will protect their babies. The one thing I have a favor to ask of you, Bryn. Can you let Courtney know and then let Ryan know that I'm gonna be calling them, that you've sponsored them for these child safe ID kits, we're gonna protect their babies, cause I don't wanna call them and start talking about their kids with them, hang up, it would freak me out if someone started talking to me about my kid.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'll give him a call for it.
Okay, perfect, that's all I ask. So he's there. Now, the next thing I have, with the Family Premier Care Plan is, each week it's gonna be this $25.95. I know you're thinking, how did they come up with the $25.95? It actually goes based on what's called the hour power principle. Now, what that entails is, you take an hour of each yours and Tommy's work week, and you're gonna pay yourself first. So it's gonna cover any gaps that you might have, and then the other rest of your hours for the work week, any overtime you work, you guys can do with that what you want, but you'll know that you're protected, all the gaps are filled in, it's fantastic. Now, the idea behind that is if I were to tell you and Tommy, normally you work 40 hours a week. If I were to say, okay, you guys are going on 41 hours a week, it's picking up here, we gotta do 41. Are you and Tommy gonna go out, buy a new Corvette, upgrade the crystal chandelier in the house?
Probably
not. Right, but if I were to flip that and say, oh, we're cutting back a little guys, I need you at 39 hours a week. You're not gonna be selling out a house and home to make ends meet. It's not gonna break the bank, right?
Right.
So that's what they came up with, that hour power principle. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then the last benefit, actually, before I go into everything that family premier the Premier Family Care Plan covers for you, have either you or Tommy been on the financial side of planning a funeral?
No, actually, we haven't.
Okay, do either of you guys know anyone who has had to deal with that kind of arrangement?
No, not really. I think my parents had to do something for my grandmother, but that was years ago.
Okay, well, nowadays, a traditional funeral, like you guys had normally talked about, is costing about $14,000.
Oh, wow.
Right, and the way it works is a lot of it used to work where you could take a life insurance policy to any funeral home and basically use that as collateral, like here's the life insurance policy, because the companies would pay out on it in 24 days.
Yeah.
But now, since they've gone to Albany and lobbied, insurance companies can hold on to those policies for 6 months.
Wow.
It's not right, it's not how it should be done, and why are they holding on to that policy for 6 months?
No.
It's
Are they making
gathering,
something?
it's gathering interest.
Oh, no
And-
kidding.
And they
Wow.
shouldn't be doing it, it's not right, especially in families' times of need like that. And we don't let it happen that way. So we have this, Freedom of Choice Funeral Benefit Plan. The way this works is simple. It's one of the cleanest, most compassionate ways to take care of these. What you'll do, Bryn, I'm sorry, Tommy, I've gotta kill you for a second. When that time comes for Tommy, you will take this Freedom of Choice certificate and you'll go into the funeral home, sit down with the funeral director. You're gonna flip it over. All you'll do is negotiate what Tommy said his final wishes were. That you'll come up with a price. You're gonna write that price right here. Over in this section, you're gonna put down all of his final wishes, date, and then sign as the beneficiary. Hand it to the funeral director, and then you'll go home, be with your family, go see Gilly Bean. It'll be fantastic. That funeral director is going to then take the certificate. He's going to call this number right here on the front. He'll ask us 2 questions. One, was Tommy covered? Yep, after today, you're good on that. But then they're going to ask how much he was covered for. Now, if you negotiated out that $14,000 traditional funeral, all the arrangements, and I told him, or our corporate told him, that it was a $20,000 policy, the $14,000 funeral you just negotiated is gonna magically cost
Probably 20,000.
20,000, right? And it shouldn't work that way. We don't let it work that way. We're never gonna reveal the amount of coverage to a funeral home, and we actually ask that our families don't ever reveal that number either, because that lets you negotiate with the funeral director in a seat of power, and they can't take advantage of you.
Right.
So that's gonna be how this works. It's really similar to a prearranged funeral. Have you guys heard of prearrangements?
Yeah.
Right, so they're absolutely fantastic. Everything is taken care of, paid for before anything happens. But there's 2 main differences with the prearranged and this. With the prearranged, you're set with one funeral home. So you go to one funeral home, set all the arrangements, you can't go anywhere else. But with this, it's permanent and portable. So you'll take it with you wherever you want, from Alaska to Wyoming, anywhere in between, over to Japan. Doesn't matter, it goes with you. And it's essentially, with prearrangements, you only get what you pay in. So sometimes it can be upwards of $300 a month, which is a lot, but say, God forbid, something happens in 2 months, you only have $600 paid into that prearrangement, and that's not gonna go very far towards a $14,000 funeral.
Right.
This is essentially a blank check for $20,000.
Wow.
Funeral homes love it because it's backed by big unions, like your union and other associations. They know they're gonna get paid on it.
Right.
So, Bryn, what would you do if Tommy didn't have this and something were to happen?
I don't know.
Right, it's a scary thought, but this is fantastic, gives you that great peace of mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the last benefit that we're going to be talking about is our living benefits. So this is, I'm done killing you, Tommy. I'm just gonna get you guys hurt now.
Okay.
So what this covers, I don't wanna write upside down, so it'll just be a second. Okay, so what this will do is, if you have any kind of injury, you, the little ones, Tommy, you guys are all covered. If you're in the kitchen cooking dinner, Bryn, I know Tommy does grocery shopping, but if you're cooking dinner for the night and then you cut your thumb pretty bad, can't stop the bleeding, where are you gonna be headed?
The emergency room.
Right, probably the emergency room, get that taken care of. Now, with your insurance, how much is your copay usually?
Like $50.
Like $50. Okay, so then you're taking time away from dinner, spending time with the family, and you have to pay $50 so you can get your thumb taken care of. With this benefit, you can get up to $200 every time you visit any kind of emergency room, urgent care, even your primary care physician, as long as you go within 72 hours of any injury.
Oh, wow.
It can't be anything internal, like my stomach hurts or I have a fever or anything like
okay.
that. It has to be an injury.
All right.
But there's no limit on when you can file a claim. As long as you go in within 72 hours of the actual injury and you get that itemized bill from the hospital, I think it's called a super bill.
Yeah.
It just has the procedure codes on it. We can get that claim filed and you can get up to $200 for each incident.
Oh, wow, okay.
Now, if something were to happen, God forbid, you get into a car accident and you have to go to the hospital, you have to stay overnight because they want to make sure you don't have a concussion or anything like that. You can get $400 per night or per day that you're in the hospital or admitted to the hospital for up to 365 days per occurrence. No one's gonna get rich off of that, but it definitely helps because at that point you're not gonna be going to work because you're admitted to the hospital. And then the last one is, God forbid, anything happens to you or Tommy, you get into a real bad accident, you're T-boned and you're put into the ICU. Now we have Tommy in the ICU, and where are you gonna be?
Right by him.
Right by him. So now you're not only losing Tommy's income, but you're not at work either. So they're gonna pay you up to they're gonna pay you $800 a day that you're in the ICU for up to 14 days. Now after that 14 days, you don't lose the benefit. It'll go back to the $400 a day for that 365 days.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
One of the biggest things, one of the biggest reasons for bankruptcy in America is because of unpaid hospital bills. And this benefit really, really helps to alleviate some of that.
Oh, wow, okay. Great, yeah, that sounds really nice.
Okay? So again, we have all of these benefits, that freedom of choice, we have option A for the $25.95 per week. And that'll be the $20,000. All these other benefits stay the same. Or option B for the $18.95 per week, where it's the freedom of choice is $10,000, but the income protection stays the same. All of those living benefits stay the same. A lot of our families do go with option A. It makes a lot of sense. But for you and Tommy, which one's going to work best? The option A or the option B?
I think option A would probably be the best for us.
Okay, option A, absolutely. That's what a lot of our families say, and we can get that set up. I'm just gonna need your guys' mugshots, driver's license, a blank check, and your doctor's information.
Wonderful.
Okay?
Great.